Check. Here we go.
Mike.
Mike. Yeah, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello.
What do we...
Just...
Oh,
We are coughing.
this is not TV, yeah. So,
it's not
yeah, okay.
This is like just a little fidgety thing I saw
Yeah.
on Twitter ad of all things, and
They sell stuff on Twitter?
all the time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess that makes sense, but
Yeah, that's how I saw the Power Drill toilet scrubber. That's how I saw.
It's just shit all over your face.
but you wouldn't go from the toilet to like your shower, would you?
Well,
What?
I think, like, I don't know, man. As long as it just came above the rim of the bowl, it's still shit all over your bathroom. So,
When you make a cake, do you fling shit everywhere?
no, man.
But you take them out, the batter's out, don't you? And
Yeah.
still leave it on?
That's because you turn it off first.
I don't turn it off. I turn it low and let it fling along
Yeah.
the edge of the side.
Your batters? Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I lift mine up and I scrape it with a spatula. It's the beaters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Okay,
definitely
so-
definitely way different.
But you gotta understand here. Here's the other thing: is yes, it is naturally in a bowl. Number one,
Right.
and you do have a way to control the amount of water.
Yeah, you
in
just
said
turn
bowl.
it off, right?
No, you hit the
Oh,
flush
you
button.
flush it.
And then down there at the bottom, you
That
go
makes sense.
whiz, and the water comes off.
Wait, what do you?
So you flush the toilet.
Okay.
Okay. You go at the bottom of the bowl. You
Oh, let
hold
it
down the
spit
thing.
off.
it will
Oh, I
spit
thought you
off.
were taking a pee in it. While it was
I
down.
thought you said.
Oh,
whiz.
well, okay. So
I was
my,
like, wait, what?
so my automatopoeia actually happened to
It wasn't
coincide with
The
the.
bodily function that you do in the same
That is
spot.
correct.
The
yes.
purpose of the bowl. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That was a good onomatopoeia.
So my
I haven't heard
apologies.
that word in a while.
Well, because it sounds like that when you do that with the drill. So that's my mistake.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, so that is how you stop it from launching
the
shit
wall.
everywhere.
I guess, man. Yeah.
Well, I don't really think you use the uber duper grill scrubber for like a clogged toilet. Like when you're scrubbing
No,
it, it's
no.
almost clean. Like,
Yeah,
you're
exactly,
there
yeah.
only getting like
Yeah.
the last bit. So.
It just seems like that's a lot of torque for something that's really easy just to swirl around like 3 times, man.
I understand. Well,
Yeah.
the other thing that's nice about it is because when you bring it up around the lip, okay,
Yeah.
and you're getting the underside,
Yeah.
that is where it really shines.
Okay.
Because that is where it is doing the heavy scrubbing underneath
Yeah.
the lip, where you don't want to get that, where you have to turn it sideways and all this stuff to clean under the.
Do you
the
put
thing.
those blue tablets in your tank?
Nope, I've heard
Oh.
those are bad news.
No, they're fine. So,
How'd they be bad?
yeah.
I have heard that they're actually shit for the environment.
Oh,
Oh,
that-
well, that could be true. I don't care. I'm putting shit in the environment.
Oh no, Patrick. I mean, look, I flush tons of battery acid myself every day just for the fun of it. So,
Really?
and right down that sink, yes.
Oh,
Why?
what?
No, of course not.
Oh,
where am I going to
no.
get this from? No.
I don't
I don't
know.
You can never tell when
What
you're
is
serious.
going
about it.
on?
So you're so prone to hyperbole. Sometimes I don't know when you're full of shit and when you're not.
No, I don't.
You had me going there. I was like, "What are you? Where? What are you getting?"
I am straight up not taking out like my revenge on society by poisoning our water. Okay, you understand that?
You know,
right?
we don't drink that water.
No, but it has to be treated.
Eventually, yeah.
And by putting battery acid in there, yes, that is a problem.
Yeah.
That is why they have certain rules that say you're not supposed to just pour this down the sink.
What? How do you clean paintbrushes?
Clean them.
I huck mine.
Yeah,
After
Yeah.
one go?
Oh, I just buy the $1 chip brushes whenever I paint.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I buy like the $10 brush.
No, man.
And I
Okay,
wash it.
Picasso.
Yeah,
Well, then
yeah.
I wash it and reuse it. Like,
When you're painting your house.
yeah.
Oh, no, man. I buy the cheapies. The same thing with the rollers. I buy the throwaway ones.
Yeah.
Well, I'd buy the throwaway roll.
Yeah. So
What about like if your daughter paints? She doesn't paint, does she?
she does, but those are like little model brush paints.
Yeah.
Yeah, those you just
Like
do in
testers?
spirit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just do those in spirits, and then
Yeah.
it'll come out.
So you don't wash anything? What about like?
Well, those I wash in the sink.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm washing out a gallon of paint out of one of those things.
Well,
yeah.
no,
You know? So,
I don't know.
yeah, no, you're not supposed to take like, oh, I had this 5-gallon bucket of paint.
yeah.
and there's
I
2.5 gallons left, and I'm never going to use this color again. Let me just pour it down the sink. Yeah, yeah, right down the toilet.
I always felt guilty about washing my brushes out in the sink,
Oh.
but I didn't know.
I wouldn't
But
feel
I
too
also
bad
was
about
just
that.
like, it's not that much. It's
not that
diluted. How much are they cleaning it? How many people do this?
Yeah,
Is
and
there a tipping point?
so on the rare occasion where, so there have been times where, like with here when I did this room, I had a spot where I was out of rollers and I only needed one last one, so I just washed that off in the
Sure.
water, right? And that's fine because this is all like latex based stuff. It actually rinses out fine.
Well, it's water based.
Yeah,
Yeah, any
Yeah.
latex paint. That's
Yeah.
not the problem.
yeah. You just rinse it out, so it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Yeah. As a matter of fact,
okay.
one of the coolest things I did was like, I don't know how it happened, but there was just a layer of it on something, and you just grabbed it and
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like, one of those things where all of a sudden the parts per million goes just that hair over, and now all the water just suddenly turns like blue.
They gotta
Green.
shut down
Yeah.
the
Right, yeah.
guys with badges show up.
I was like, gosh, is my paint here going to be the one that pushes it over the edge? Do they trace it back?
We're the water cops. Did you paint your ass recently? No. Why do you ask?
No, it's just I take good care of my house.
Which one of you guys did? One of you guys tried one of those Wagner power sprayers, right?
I used to have one a long time ago.
Were you the one that told me that it just goes through tons of paint?
It goes through a shitload of paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're loud too.
It's
It's not like shh, it's like it makes this,
commercial.
it makes this buzzing sound that's just like you're gonna want earplugs. if
Is
you
it
don't.
worth it if you're having to paint
Hell
your
no.
fence?
Your fence? No. So
How else are you going to paint a fence?
I'm gonna hire a guy to paint a fence.
Oh, that's probably
Yeah.
fair enough.
Do you need to paint a fence?
Our fence has to be a certain color.
Oh my god! Again with this?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yours not the right color?
No, it is. It's just that one whole side took all the hail, and so now it looks.
You get hail this year?
No, it's a couple of years old.
God, I want a good hailstorm next year. I want a new roof.
I think mine's getting
Hey,
getting
I
to
just
that point.
did mine, man.
Oh, not over here, over at my house.
And I'm way out there, so
Yeah,
who knows
yeah.
what can go on from
This is
there to
completely
here.
random.
So
Here's just an off chance. You know?
yeah, your guys are decently close.
Damn, man. Yeah, did the ordeal I went through having to redo my roof was such a pain in the
You
ass.
also had a tree go through the side of your house, so
Okay, the
that's
shingles were probably done in
an
like, a
extreme
couple of days,
complication compared to
yeah.
our hail damage for our roof, and the guy going, "Yeah, you're due anyway."
Well, and your guy was fighting with the insurance company, wasn't he?
Well, it wasn't not on that. No,
Oh, I thought that was the hang up.
it was the fence. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't the insurance company. It was getting everything in place, and the fact that it took a while because they actually had to fix the house.
It took so long, so they raised the price because prices
Yeah.
were going up so fast.
Yeah.
So the quote was like,
Well, to be fair, when I had my house painted last year, there was a bunch of like, what is that, press board? I don't have vinyl siding on. I got actual siding.
"Oh,
Oh,
It's
okay.
that
gotcha, yeah,
yeah
hard, whatever,
something
yeah.
like that. And some of it had rotted out, and so that part actually took longer than everything else because
Yeah.
they needed to get a carpenter out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
To do.
because they had to do scaffolding, they had to do all that stuff out there.
Okay.
And again, pounding on that while my dog is trying to protect the house and I'm trying to teach fucking classes online. And
I'm surprised you didn't go get a like staycation place for a
I
week.
joked, I thought about it
Yeah.
for a second, but like, all my stuff's here. You know?
Yeah, that wouldn't be the same attitude you would have had like 4 years ago. So
No.
with
Yeah.
oil money.
With oil money?
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about stuff.
Yeah, at that point, I'd be looking for like, can I rent a house for a couple of days,
Right, yeah.
or a few weeks?
I really like the Stay Bridge.
The state
Stay Bridge suites.
here.
Wherever. Like,
I don't know about the state.
because they have like a full kitchen. Like,
Oh.
it's got the stove, everything.
yeah,
like,
Sounds
it's
like Homewood.
it's super nice, and it's meant for like extended stays. But I would always stay there when I was in North Dakota. They
Oh.
had me stay up there for like rig move or rig skids and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to get off." It's like, "All right, I'll go over there." Baker don't care.
Depending on the duration of it. Yeah, if they're like, if it's 2 days, stay up there. If it's,
Yeah,
If it's if it's a week, go home.
yeah. Well, if it is a week, I'm going home.
Well, even still, like for me, later on, I probably would have stayed up there. I don't know. Because
As long as you got
Yeah.
you had home with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I did. Wait, are we? Did you guys see the movie?
Yes.
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework. This was Sonic, right?
This was, yeah.
Totally
It's
did it too.
not.
Yeah.
It didn't even come up on your radar, did it?
Oh, didn't even think about it the last couple days. So, I'm sorry.
I don't know how to penalize them.
Well, you can make them watch like Black Adam or something like that.
Hold out your hand. I have to slap you.
No, I don't take corporal punishment very well.
I don't think this one was up your alley. What,
Yeah,
well, what
yeah.
did you think of it?
Okay. Surprisingly few problems. So let me put it to you this way. Okay, so there's a dichotomy going on here where I could. It's weird because it seems like there's two very separate writers at work here. Okay?
From the first one to the second one, or during the movie?
Just the movie itself.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so obviously you're doing this thing with anthropomorphic animals with attitudes and that sort of thing, and I actually like that quite a bit. Okay? It is what it is, right? It's silly, it's for kids, and I actually like the personality and the message of it. Like, you have something to say, and you're going to say it, and you're going to keep it simple enough for kids. What bothers me is there is this subplot, and I don't know where they dug this dude out of like 1998, and I don't know why they were thinking that the intersection of anthropomorphic kids movie is sassy black. What the fuck?
For her family?
Yes, I don't know why they thought the intersection of anthropomorphic animals was don't go there, fucking talk to the hand, kind of like so much of
Wait a
the
minute, this
movie
was
is
a kid's movie. Right?
Yeah.
yes,
all right.
and why they're thinking that it's like one guy's in there that says tell the story of these three animals, okay, and Dr. Robotnik. I'm like, actually, this is fun, okay, and I ended up liking Knuckles so much, right?
He's pretty cool.
He was so charming, but then there's this part of we should have like there's like
The whole FBI thing was pretty pointless.
this absolutely pointless.
They didn't do anything. Like they did nothing
It
other than
furthered nothing except for a opportunity to have some like I can't with this. I can't with this like where they're like, you know what's funny? Ghetto people acting ghetto. Like if I were a black person, I'd be furious about that being in my movies. Like, can you guys not? Can you let actually just let
I wonder
black
if they
people?
do like that parts.
I don't know.
know.
Well, it's
I don't know what they think of that. I don't know if they think that they enjoy it. I don't know. I have no earthly idea if that's part of their culture and they think it's great, or if they're like, that's not us. Stop doing it that way.
that's
I don't know.
I'm sure some like it and some don't.
Yeah.
I get it. Look, there's an entire like a lot of like Tyler Perry movies and stuff have like the concept of Medea is entirely based around that. And you know, from the like I remember a guy, you know, I worked with Robert. I asked him about this directly. I said, "Is this funny to you?" I was like, "Does this not bother you?" And he said, "No, because every one of us has a relative that's like this, right?"
Okay.
But then again, like if you and I are sitting there, and we saw a movie right now, okay, and we saw like a total Asian stereotype pop out and do the shit from the 80s, and me, Ricky, and would we stop and say, oh, I have a relative like this? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I do, but
No, because the one that was on TBS about the white guy owning the bar and he was married to an Asian and the mom was like our mom. I was like,
Tiger Mom, yeah.
yeah, I was like, dude, I get it. It's our family. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I get it, and for me, I'd be like, I don't need to see this. I don't remember it fondly. Right? So, I mean, so some of you could be like my aunt is just like that, or some of you are like, oh my God, do you have to do this? Right? But again, I don't know why they thought that was the intersection with this movie.
It would have been fine if the FBI actually did something.
Again, it's a useless subplot. It goes nowhere.
It just slowed the movie down.
And again, there's a core of this that when they set out and they said, well, what are we going to tell the story of? Okay, well, this person has this.
Well, in case you didn't know, since you don't, the wife of
Cyclops,
yes,
James Marsden, yes.
Her sister's getting married, and turns out that it's all an FBI sting. So the husband, the fiance, is an FBI agent. They were setting up a sting so that they could catch Sonic.
Is Sonic bad?
Well, he's an alien.
Oh, okay.
So the FBI doesn't like aliens.
MIB guy.
So they're it's a whole setup, and they capture him, but then they break him free after like 5 minutes, and then they go about doing the rest of their stuff. So it does like nothing. Only it allows an elaborate scene of the fiance to be crazy and so mad that her. Wait, is she a fiance?
She's a fiance. She's
he's
going.
a fiance. They're
Okay.
both fiancés.
So, all right, Patrick.
That's how that works.
It does work. Okay.
Okay, let me do this. Okay, so.
I got you.
Okay.
Well, no. This is the part that you need to know. Okay, is in the first movie, Sonic's only friend is James Marsden, and he is. I think he's married at that point.
Is James Marsden an actual dude?
Yeah, he's an actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know who he is.
He's like he's like the dad of the Chipmunks.
Oh,
basically.
Dave Savell.
Yeah. So you just think of that relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Well, he is. I don't know if he's dating, but he's with a black woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, there's never any point to say like, it's not like he starts that movie. That's not his prejudice. He doesn't start the movie and see her like, ooh, right? No, it's just natural.
Of course he doesn't.
So it's not like he's overcoming that. It's just completely normal, right? So he ends up having to go to his sister-in-law's, okay, what would be his sister-in-law's wedding. They're invited to this on an island place, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is the excuse they have to put Sonic on his own, right? We're getting married. We can't take an anthropomorphic hedgehog with us. Watch the house, you irresponsible young boy. Show me your maturity. Got it. Premise of the movie setup. Okay. Now, in this island area, okay, the woman, his sister-in-law, that's going to be marrying this super handsome black guy, right, is a sassy woman.
Okay.
Because you can't play it straight. You have to be like...
You have to 11 it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is so distractingly sassy, right, that it just... For me, it takes away from what at its core is a pretty simple but character-driven, this person has this flaw, this person has this flaw, and we're talking about the animals, right? When that plays out, that's actually fine.
It was fine when she was bits and pieces.
There's a section
where she gets to go off, and it is...
And there's this, it's being written by a 1998 white man that came from the past and said, this is what was funny with black people back then. Like, he watched, his homework was watch 6 episodes of Martin, right?
My aunt.
Okay, and bring that dynamic to a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Well, but I also do understand that I would be incredibly pissed as well.
You would if they decided to introduce that into your story.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if the person I'm marrying turns out to be an FBI agent and the operation is called Operation Catfish,
Yes, that. See, again, I thought that was funny. I thought
she deserves to lose her shit. Like, full on, yeah. But it did go on, and then everything they did with Tails' bag of tricks was like spot on. That they knew how to do everything.
I can get it. Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
was
saying.
just like, oh, come on.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's where it's like the second writer who was tasked with weaving this bullshit like story into this here with because the other side is actually tight.
The only thing I didn't like was I didn't need to see Sonic go. Since I am now watching Dragon Ball Z with the kids,
Oh yeah,
I did not need to see Sonic go Dragon Ball Z.
but that's lore. That's absolutely lore.
That happens in the game?
That happened in Sonic 2 back in like 1991.
I did not realize that.
So the thing is, when he, this was the other part that was weird. So okay, so in the game, William.
Yes, I don't know.
Okay, so in Sonic 2, once you collect all of the Chaos Emeralds, okay, and have 50 rings, okay, you turn into Super Sonic,
Oh yeah.
okay, which is that glowing yellow one, which is actually a tribute to Dragon Ball.
Really?
Does Dragon? I thought that Dragon Ball was after that.
Dragon Ball's
Dragon-
ancient.
Dragon Ball's been
Oh.
around since the early, like the early 80s.
Okay, all right.
The original.
I didn't know.
Okay, the
I think
original.
it's earlier than that.
So the
It's not
original
in the
one.
70s?
No.
Okay.
It's not the 70s, but it is like the early 80s.
Okay.
Okay, but the stuff that your kids are watching, that's the later one. That one came out in the late 80s, right? It's a follow up to that, but that's why he's actually called Supersonic.
Okay. All right, then I guess I
Why he
don't have...
goes,
All
that's
right.
why he goes blonde. But the whole thing
Fair
is,
enough, then.
so he gets really powerful. But what happens is your ring counter starts going down. Right.
So you can only do it for a certain time.
Yep. Right. And so the weird thing is the whole part where like, oh, I'm not ready for this yet. So I'm like, okay, I got it. I mean, that's part of your journey. That's again, I didn't have a problem with that in terms of the story, but there's also like, yeah, it's goofy, but it actually says we're going to explain this with these characters. This is the arc that they're going through. So with the actual little cute things that you came to see the movie for, they all went through their appropriate arcs. I was like, wow, this is surprisingly competent. It's a shame that a quarter of this movie is littered with, like, which one of you assholes decided, like, dance off was something that you're going to do?
That part I
Like, are
didn't
you
know.
fucking retarded? Like,
That was dumb.
there was one joke in there that I did like, was the fact that the guy had a tattoo of himself. Which was, I thought that was great. It should have stopped right there. But there's this part where it's like, guys, what are you gonna do? It's like, which one of you idiots still think it's funny? Like, why don't we just Macarena? Why don't we? There is this part of there that is just so dated. And I'm like, why didn't you give this another? Why didn't you just say, I don't think kids will like this. I don't think parents will like this. I don't think anybody would like this.
I was ready for a fight. I was just like,
agree.
oh, I don't know what they're going to do. Let's see what happens. And then they're like, it's off. I was like, oh, no.
Man.
Really?
And I did like I thought the idea was funny that they didn't know how to dance, but suddenly they can. I'm like,
And then
God
I know they're
damn
like
it.
fantastic at
I'm like, you
just
assholes.
because the different song played, they were like, they went from like stumbling and this, and then like the song they wanted to play came on. And they're just, and Tails had
he plugged
no,
in his iPod.
and Tails had no clue how to dance. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And Sonic's just like, follow my lead. And then they're like perfectly in sync. It's just like,
So what's weird is there is
Anthropomorphic hedgehog is an alien. And you want realism out of dance content?
again, this is the thing is
is that too much to ask?
the movie does have an internal logic. It does for the most part, and then that's what I'm saying. There's some other dude in here who's not paying because the rest of it they're like, look, we have rules that we follow. He gets he has to like eat all the time. This is the problem. We have set up these rules, and they follow it for most of it. But then there's stupid things like this where
I think his speed varies.
Well, and that's what I'm
really
saying.
Drastically.
It's like one person was hard in there. Like he went out there with like the character sheets. He went in there with the character Bible and said, actually, he'd be running out of juice at about 45 seconds.
Because like in the first one, he runs from, I don't know where their home city is, but he runs from there to like the west coast into
San
the
Francisco,
ocean
yeah.
and back in like a second. And then here he's having to just like jog or run, like,
because
but
of
he's
water.
running real fast.
He's on water.
No, like when he's like leaving the snow, like he chooses to snowboard down the mountain rather than just being like, cool, it's downhill.
Well, it just turned into a ball and just
Yeah, and just gone.
Spin.
Well, again,
I get it looks cool and all that, but
no,
it's just
that
like,
is literally a throwback to Ice Cap Zone in Sonic 3.
oh, see, I'm
where he-
missing all the.
Where he snowboards down the hill. So I get it.
Okay,
It's fine.
so I
It's
missed
fine.
all the.
But your
the
logic adds
tie-ins
up.
to
You're
the
like,
game.
your logic adds up. I mean, there would be something funny where you said, well, what if he turned into a ball and then just turned into a big snowball? Like, that'd be fun. And
like-
yeah,
Looney Tunes or whatever.
yeah. And it's weird because, you know, as the movie goes on, I end up like Knuckles more and more and more, especially when it gets to the end. And I'm like, oh, he's actually got like this kind of like stupid but not too stupid personality. He's not like the new Thor, where he's not just too retarded to live. Because yeah, at that point with him, like you would have suffocated long ago, right? So would I recommend it?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that great.
No, it's not. Here's the thing: is you have to suffer through some bullshit.
I don't think it was about the suffering. I just don't think it was.
Oh, okay. Oh man, it was like
I
I was.
imagine for you.
It's like I was being dragged by a truck, man. I'm like, it's like I got skin like coming off, and I'm like looking at the driver. I'm like, guys, just pull me over here and just like put a stake in my heart. Do the right thing.
Could you watch a whole Tyler Perry movie?
I have.
How did you like? There's no way I could watch like that. The show.
I
He's the
knew
lead.
what I was getting.
And you're okay. So if you're not strict into it,
Yes.
you can brace for impact.
Absolutely. So well, here's what I want you. Okay, well, I want you to remember this. Patrick, you can remember this too. All right. So you remember like Transformers 2007, the first one?
Okay.
Okay. So there's a fun movie going on here, a lot of cool robots. But it takes this detour with Shia LaBeouf's parents
Oh yeah.
for about 5 minutes, maybe 10. Okay? And it's pretty rough. Because they're super annoying.
Is that when they're
That's
still
the
in
one
their
where-
house?
Yeah, they're still in the house.
It's not as I think that's actually better than this, but take that and make it go on for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, no
It
thanks.
wasn't that long, was it?
Well, I don't know. I guess this was also like this was in like triple time for me.
Time slows and you just
because
they
that I
tape
had
your eyes open. Stop it! Make it stop! No.
I'm sorry, man. I can't. I hate that so much. I do. And if that had gone on, and okay, no, same goddamn movie. All right. So there's this part where they actually inject Sassy Black into that because you take a gifted actor like Anthony Anderson, and you got that part where it's like they put out the donuts. I ate that whole plate. Right. So if you remember,
yeah, that is in
yeah,
that.
that's in that movie. Okay. So if that went on for like 20 minutes in the middle of Transformers, where you're like, I came to see Transformers and I'm getting this. And again, that's like, just throw in more like dated shit. Like if he kept saying, don't go there, right? Or fucking like, I don't know, whatever, just kind of dumbass, like outdated blackisms you can throw at it. Like, you want to walk out.
There's very few things I want to walk out. It was
It's like,
annoying.
this is
but
infuriating me. That was how I felt about Ruby Rod in The Fifth Element. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop doing this.
He was in short doses though, man. So
Do that for 20 minutes.
he had the one thing that his one like 1 minute where they're following him around,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it was just him kind of showing up
And
or screaming.
He
Yeah,
did a lot of
he
screaming.
did do a lot of screaming, but there's a lot of good action in that scene too. So
I get it. Yeah, and I understand. But if that's what I'm saying, is if he was in 15 minutes of the movie,
just straight by himself, no thanks.
or even interspersed. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Oh, he had easy 15.
He had 15 minutes overall, easily.
Easy.
That's
Maybe even more, because he was all the way up till the end.
Yeah,
Wow.
that movie's shorter than you think, though.
Is it?
But
Yeah,
it really
is
is.
shorter than you think.
Yeah.
It moves pretty fast.
So for me, if you can tolerate that,
But I
it's
mean,
fine.
well,
It's absolutely
in
fine.
Fifth Element, you can barely understand what Mila's saying, and then you got him doing that. Like, you barely have any real English. Like
That's true.
the aliens are making their sounds. There's stuff
The
being
aliens
translated.
are awesome. The
So,
aliens
like,
are too
there's
awesome. Gary Oldman
Barely,
is at his Gary Oldmaniest.
there's barely any
President
legit
Debo.
English in this.
Oh, didn't that guy die? He did.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Tiny Zeus
Tiny
Lister.
Zeus. Yeah.
Lister, yeah.
Lister.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he died of COVID. So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
COVID got him. Yeah. So,
Wow. Gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. So that's where this ends. If this is how our Sonic 2 discussion ends with the death of Debo, then that's
it
fine.
got to where it
That's
needed to.
I brick. I'm not saying they're related, but I'm willing to cap it on that. Yeah. So,
Fair enough.
but yeah, I didn't mind watching it. This was the weird thing, right? So the big controversy about the first movie. Did you know this?
A controversy.
The controversy about the first movie was that when the original design of Sonic came out, they tried to make him look way more human. Right? And so when the first trailer came out, and you can look at it if you want, okay? You can look at a
are we
picture.
allowed?
Yes, when there's
You sure?
3 of us, you may Google something.
Wait, what? Why is that a rule different with 3 instead of 2?
Because we can still keep going while the other person...
Oh, so there could be. Okay.
I
Okay.
think the rule.
I thought it was. I
That's the
thought that
only
was.
logical part. Yes,
I thought it was just our rule for.
I think it's a fine rule, but if you want to, specifically because I'm saying look at the image and you haven't seen it, that's fine. But if we're going to statistics,
to try and look up
fuck it up,
information.
okay?
Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to look at this, just type in original Sonic design, right? Okay, the controversy was that this original design was so uncanny creepy, right? That it got a whole shit ton of like negative press. Okay?
Ooh.
Yeah, he's looking pretty grisly, right? Because they tried
Like
to make
that
him...
real?
No, look at this
Oh,
second
okay.
one. Okay. Where they like made the eyes smaller.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the internet was like, this is hideous.
It's hideous. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
Kind of like whenever somebody shows those pictures of like when somebody tries to make a photorealistic Homer Simpson.
Oh my god, some of those are terrifying.
So-
did you see there's a guy out there that actually does a pretty good Peter Griffin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits all the Comic Cons and shit. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like
but
he's
it
pretty good.
naturally looks like him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a chubby boy.
he is to scale, man.
So
So
he's got the voice down.
he
man.
does.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're gonna do it, you better own it.
But yeah, so the thing was, the actual producer of the movies took the feedback
Well,
and
that's cool.
they redid it with the model they used in the other movie, and they said we're going to make it more cartoon accurate. So the problem was that critics, okay, jumped in there and they said, well, that wasn't the director's vision.
So the director can actually learn and listen and like, why would that be bad?
Because you don't tell an artist how to make art.
I've heard you make that argument.
I have.
But this is I was about to say, wait a minute.
This is the thing. Okay. The reason I'm making this vision, the reason I'm making this argument is because there was a fundamental fuck up from all levels. Okay. Because if your director you hire takes that and says, I'm going to make this, then you hired the wrong director,
Yeah, okay.
right? So if you hire somebody that is not going to be faithful to the original vision, you screwed up.
Well, what if you thought that people would like it, and then you float it out there and they don't, and then isn't that really impressive of you to be like, to not stick to your guns and be like, you know what? Okay, we hear you.
Well, it depends. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I see you calling out my hypocrisy, and you're absolutely right.
No,
Okay?
I don't think it's hypocrisy.
No, it is. It is, because for me, my argument would have been that at that point you should have swapped your director, or from the design phase, okay? Because you don't go in there and do hours and hours of CGI before you have a design that you agree on, right? You're supposed to lay out all this stuff on the table and bounce back.
That is true.
Right?
That should have
in
been.
the planning phases. Your producer should have been like, "That's hideous," okay? And the thing that they lean into was, it'll look. You're trying to make it fit in by making it look realistic. You will actually make it look more realistic by going cartoon, right? You have to lean into the eccentricities of the design, because if you try to make this look like an actual animal, right? Now it's scary.
Well, did you watch the Pokemon movie? The Detective Pokemon?
No, I didn't.
Like it looked pretty cool. Like they made the Pokemon. I guess maybe it's not looking like human, but it gave them real feel like they're part of the real world. And I thought it was pretty good.
No, I didn't see it. But I mean, do they actually? From what I saw in the commercial, they actually looked like their animated counterparts.
Yeah, but they just made them look. So yeah, I guess they didn't change them to look like people.
Right.
So okay.
Right. Because they never had.
Pikachu would have been really weird. As like
The penguin. You know?
Or like I know I know a lot of those Disney live action remakes, right?
I haven't watched one.
I watched Lion King.
I'm not.
What did you think? Because they make them look like real lions, right?
It's bad.
I'm not doing it. Like I just
Yeah, they would have been better off if they had just done the Garfield thought bubble thing, you know? Because it's just like that lion. No, their faces don't move like that. You know, I get what they were trying to do, but I don't know.
Well, did it? I've only seen like the commercials for it, right? But do they lose all of their personality in the design by chasing that?
So I don't,
at least visually.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. What they do lose is they lose any kind of like. So the motions are, especially when they're talking. You know, like Disney was always really good at actually putting human emotions on animal faces.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and a lot of that has to do with the speed of how quickly, you know, your face actually moves, and Disney
Yeah.
was able to skip multiple frames and get you to something. They try and actually render the whole thing, and it just looks, everything looks kind of like it's loading. You know?
interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just not quite there, man.
Well, and that's the thing is like squash and stretch kind of applies to models like that, but
no, they tried to do it like straight out of Nat Geo kind
Right,
of thing.
right.
Know? So
whereas like if you're gonna take a character like Baloo, half of that is gonna come from the exaggeration with humanized anthropomorphic features from the very beginning.
yeah, actually, I have not seen the Jungle Book one, so
Nor did I.
Yeah.
But they just look like animals. They look
Yeah.
like everything looked like Planet of the Apes.
Kind
Right?
of.
Just in terms like that's what you were going for.
Well, they see, like with Caesar, they did a pretty good job with him.
Yeah, he emotes
So-
like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
Wait,
they did
who?
the Caesar and
Planet
Planet,
of the
of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
He does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, they did a good job with him. So is that Andy Serkis? Probably.
Yeah, it was,
yeah. So, but yeah, no, Lion King not quite so much. And now they're doing a Little Mermaid one. aren't they?
Yeah.
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 That was a preview at the movie that I saw. I went and saw Black Panther.
Oh.
So I got a question about a preview.
Okay.
Oh.
So obviously I took my two kids, and William's friend went with us as well. And so I got 3 kids there. And this is to see Black Panther. So like the first preview that comes up, first or second, it's got Jim Parsons. Do you know who Jim Parsons is?
No.
He's
Isn't he
from
that dork from The Big Bang?
Yes. So lots of the kids have watched Big Bang Theory too.
Okay,
So they've
yeah.
seen Jim Parsons.
Which guy does he play?
He's the Bazinga. He's the tall one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, right.
But he has a girlfriend in the show, all this kind of stuff. So everybody that knows him,
Yeah, but he's queer in the real life.
he is. But do you think all the kids know that?
No.
Okay.
They might.
So they might.
Yeah.
So the first one is about him having a straight gay relationship.
The first preview.
It's either the first or second. And so like William's friend like watched Big Bang Theory and he's like, oh, it's Sheldon. Like, oh, cool. I can't wait to see what this is. And then he like straight up is like kissing the guys on the screen and stuff like this. And like I turn and look and they're just like,
Are they just like wincing? Yeah, exactly. They get that kid cringe going
yeah,
on.
and I'm like,
you know? It's
and like, and it's a decently long preview about this whole relationship they have, and I'm like, huh, it's not the preview we signed up for
Yeah.
coming to a Marvel movie. Like,
oh, they put it there on purpose.
yeah, I was just like, oh, huh,
Yeah.
interesting. I get it. I'm like, God, what would everyone think if it was just like a kissy love story right now? I'm like, damn, the kids would probably cringe at that too and be like,
Yeah. To a
Right.
certain
why
extent,
are you
yeah.
showing me this at my superhero movie? And I was just like, huh.
My
'Cause-
daughter winces at anything like
Yeah,
that. in the movie.
yeah.
So.
But I was just like, huh. Because yeah, he was so, like, I even heard him. He's like, oh, it's Sheldon. And then he like first thing he does is kiss the guy, and he's just like,
What are you doing, Sheldon?
and like he turned and looked at me, and I'm like, I don't know, but
Yeah. What other previews were out there? Anything look good?
they had the new Ant-Man, they had the Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay.
They
I've seen a
had
preview for that watching football. So
the Little Mermaid.
yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah, I guess the kids were all hip on. Like I didn't even know it was gonna be played by somebody black,
Oh,
and they're just like, oh, did you hear about the controversy and all this kind of stuff? And I'm like,
the kids?
yeah.
It's,
I was just
I
like,
didn't really
whoa,
see it.
whoa.
Like
I
that,
don't,
like,
and they're like, look, like, and then she came on. And they're like, look, it looks like she's just in the water. Like, she looks normal. Like, why are people getting mad? I'm like, I didn't know anything was going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what do you think the controversy is, William?
well, obviously.
Playing a black person for a very white, pasty Ariel. But she looks like somebody that gets sun.
At the bottom of the ocean?
I mean, well, she's going to come out of the ocean, so she really likes to.
That's part of being half like
Actually, I don't know.
fish and half person.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know if mermaids have gills.
I don't know. Waterworld did. So
If those were,
that was weird.
yeah.
They didn't really show them have gills in.
Oh yeah. They
No,
In Disney?
Oh, in Disney? No.
No, they didn't have.
yeah, but they absolutely they sing underwater, dude. They you would be taking water into your lungs.
Well,
They did that.
they explain that with Namor. Why he doesn't have gills. He breathes like certain animals can breathe the air through their skin, so that's what they used.
Convenient. You just got to leave the Force alone. Don't worry about midichlorians, man. It's just this thing. You know? It's cool.
How do they? Okay, so how do they explain away the tiny little feet on his ankles for an underwater creature? I got him.
So
Because he actually flies with those corny things.
yeah, it looks really weird.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Think of like Flash. Hermes has like little
Yeah.
wings on his helmet.
Okay.
He's got them on his ankles,
Okay.
and they flap fast enough to let him fly.
Okay.
It looks really weird
Wait.
because it's just these
Is it
tiny
the comic or?
In the comic,
he's
yes.
got 'em.
Yes,
He's
he
got, I
does in
don't
the
know
comic,
if he
yeah.
flies
Yeah,
by
he
them.
does.
It looks weird.
Well, I don't. Okay, so let me get this.
Was that from Greek mythology? The winged sandals?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not
Yes.
big on Greek mythology. I don't know that much about it. So
That would be
the messenger of Zeus.
it's not Mercury, is it? I
think it is Mercury.
Yeah, I think it's Mercury. Yes, and the way they explained it away in the actual books was he's from Atlantis.
He's not from Atlantis.
Before it
I
was
know.
drunk by the oceans.
Right. So the whole thing is like, well, we don't know about Atlantis, so this is what you had going on, right?
So in this one,
He's Mesoamerican.
so it's back then.
Where's that from?
They're Incans.
Oh, okay.
And so to save their lives, they ate.
Each other.
They ate some blue stuff or something. I can't.
The bullshit fruit from
From the Wakandans.
yes.
Oh,
So they ate this. His mom was.
blueberry punch, huh?
It turned all of them blue. But she's pregnant. She ate the stuff. So he wasn't born blue. And he got winged feet. Wow, why did they say it? But he got pointy ears because they were raising to the sun. And he got winged feet. I can't remember why they
Man, the
said
people
it.
who wrote this were high as fuck, weren't they?
But everybody else is blue. So everybody else that's had babies, blue babies. But
Uh-huh.
he's not blue.
Are they 9 feet tall?
No, they're
we trying to
regular
conquer
height. They're
them?
just really strong. Which makes sense if they live at that depth.
They all worship a giant
But
tree.
none of the other ones. The Williams friend did go, "Hey, it's Avatar." And I'm like, yeah. So it was weird that he's the only one and he's immortal, or kind of. I think he's immortal. I don't know. I think they can kill him.
Yeah, with heaters.
With heaters and fire. On a beach. Which makes sense if you're gonna try and play it out. That's fine. It was fine. I was okay with that. But yeah, watching him fly around with the little wings, and they made the little butterflies, like the hummingbird sounds too. It was like it's just like
This is Wakanda, right?
but they're
No, that's the movie you're
Yes,
talking about.
yes,
Okay,
Wakanda
man.
Forever.
Jeez, I didn't know if you were making this shit up. So,
I went and saw it, so
right.
yeah, of course. It was odd. It was not. They just keep striking out. It's not on a good path, but
Fucking stop
Ant-Man!
them.
Ant-Man looks cool.
Right. Okay. So it looks cool. Okay. So are you gonna sit there for 2 hours and watch Paul Rudd get insulted while all the chicks do all the cool stuff?
That's
just
possible.
give him one more. It might kick him over.
Nothing's gonna kick me over. Right?
Well, then don't worry about it then.
Yeah. Well, do you understand that I'm not doing this because I'm trying to hate. I want them to actually make good product again.
I think you're gonna run out of time, man.
Well, I think they're just gonna tire themselves out.
Well, and that's what
But
I'm
that's
saying.
gonna be what, another 5-6 years?
Yeah,
Depends.
it could be 5 or 6 years, man. So the genre is going to go the way of the Western. So here pretty soon because they're just going to beat the shit out of it.
You know, I'd say that, but this is the problem: is I can't make that argument because with most of those genres, there's a cycle to it, right?
Yeah, it'd take it a couple decades for it to come back. So
Well, no. Here's the thing: is you typically go into, right? You have a dabble in it, which they did with basically the first X-Men movie back in 2000,
Yeah.
right? And you have a little bit of expansion, then you go into full bore, then you go into deconstruction, which they've done many times, right? You watch Invincible, you watch what was that show you were watching? Oh, The Boys.
Yeah.
Right. You go into
man.
you go into deconstruction, and then basically once you go there, that's sort of the beginning of the end, right? But they've outlasted that.
Well, Invincible hasn't been around that long.
Well, it's 3
2,
years.
3 years? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
The Boys is still running. I mean,
That's
the,
true.
And there were plenty of shows before then, like Hancock. That was a deconstruction from a long time ago.
It was.
It wasn't
Yeah.
great. In fact, there's an interesting movie there, but it falls apart pretty hard.
Yeah, it had a lot of potential.
Yeah, I
It
was
really
really looking
did.
forward to that, but man, that flit around.
Yeah,
So.
the end part where they're connecting him to her
was
and all that stuff. I
stupid.
was just like, oh,
It's like this movie doesn't need this. Do you have?
a really cool character, cool problems that he's going through. It's good.
Yeah, the question isn't, the question is about how does this person live in this world, and he's not appreciated because he causes more problems than he solves. That's an interesting
It was
hook.
good.
To
And then
say
you
this is
throw in
weird,
the
like
wacky,
they're angels,
yeah, or
and,
however they're tied.
and when they come close to each, and I'm like, oh wow, like
yeah,
yeah, that was bizarre. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so once you get to deconstruction, usually that's where, like, you can take the Westerns, there wasn't like a resurgence of like returning back to
what was
normal.
a deconstruction western?
Oh, Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and those were there in the 70s and 80s too.
Sure, you can make an argument The Man with No Name is a deconstruction of the
Yeah.
Western. So
The
yeah, it can be a
anti-hero,
30-year
yeah.
cycle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's to say it's predictive too, which it's not. So
were
Well,
kids
yeah.
into westerns as much?
well, it was the 50s and the 60s.
So you didn't
yeah.
have any options.
No, everybody watched Gunsmoke, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Shit, that went on for what, like 22 seasons or something
something like that.
Yeah.
Something crazy. So that was even. I mean, there were so many other shows.
Rifleman.
Yeah. So, then it exists alongside a lot of other shows that were basically westerns but weren't, like Jack Friday, yeah, Dragnet, stuff like that.
Yeah, some of them were have gun will travel. But that was not.
Yeah, but war movies
Yeah.
went through deconstruction really quickly too. So it all started with things like Kelly's Heroes, and then other things
Yeah.
like
Okay.
Private Pile. So we're gonna make fun of it first, and then after a
Yeah.
while we're gonna like flip it on its head.
Yeah.
And they didn't come
Yeah.
back until Saving Private Ryan. So and then that was like everybody got like 2 doses of that, and they're like, we're good.
Yeah, you know what? Because I would say
Like Black Hawk Down and
Yeah, maybe
Hurt Locker.
Black Hawk Down
Is
was
that
kind of
even-
like, yeah, that kind of put the lid back on it really quickly. So because there was like 3 or 4 movies there at that time that were kind of poking at the war genre again, and 2 of them were bad. So one of them was The Thin Red
Thin
Line,
Red Line.
which was a terrible movie. And then Nicolas Cage had one not too long after.
Wind
The Wind
Talkers?
Talkers. That one was equally terrible. So yeah.
Well, okay, now hold on. Now I won't say that it went away permanently because movies like Platoon were in the 80s, as well as
Sure.
Apocalypse Now and
That's like 79. So
yeah. But there's a couple of those like kicking around, but those were purely I would say they're almost political movies first, war movies second.
Well, absolutely. The famous one there is it's even after Platoon, Full Metal Jacket. So that's
Yeah.
like 84, 85,
Yeah.
something like that. So, and then it was all like, no, war is always bad. So you didn't get a like, oh, actually, there's stories to be told until you got Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was
it
the
was a long time.
1998, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90, 96, 98, somewhere around there. So, but, no genre ever dies, man. I mean, you can still find Westerns out there that are new if you want. So,
You can, and I would argue a lot of that went to television. I think I haven't seen it, but people still rave about Deadwood, but I just haven't seen it.
oh, Deadwood's pretty good. Yeah.
Was it? I've heard some people. I just never got into it, but I've heard a lot of people like this is like the pinnacle of television. I love
Oh, I don't know if it's that good.
There are some people that love it. So
So there's been a couple Western series. So That one was probably the best, but
Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels was pretty fun. So it had Chief O'Brien in it as the bad guy.
That I actually don't.
Yeah, it
but
was
I
kinda
love
cool.
him in everything. So that's
Well, and he wasn't really the bad guy. He was kind of the bad guy. So
What would you call Westworld?
Westworld is a steaming pile of shit.
I thought it was really boring.
but I think he was asking you the genre of the shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's fucking made up bullshit. So
Well, I didn't know it was that bad.
I hate shit like that. It's like, oh, your entire reality is fucksword because you're too stupid to realize what's going on around here. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm smart enough to find the power button.
Oh god. Oh. What is?
Just watched one season. I will never watch any piece of that ever again, man.
It was just slow. It was really
It
boring.
was really slow. It was really boring. They had Ed Harris of all
Yeah.
people there, and they didn't use him very well. So
That's
they
a
had
crime.
Anthony Hopkins, and they didn't use him very well.
That's a crime.
Those are both
Yeah.
crimes. Yeah. So, you know.
That would be yeah. You want to talk about possibly like the top 3 actors that you could waste, right? You named probably 2 that I would think of, and probably Robert Duvall would be my third. Where
Which Robert Duvall are we talking about? Are we talking about old chubby Robert Duvall? Or like, you know, like mid-50s, 60s, you know, Robert Duvall?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
Just
does.
whichever one you get.
Gone in 60 seconds.
He's in that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the old guy that raises or that is like working with Memphis.
Oh my god! I forgot that his name. He's
Memphis Reigns.
such a god. Like, so Nicolas Cage has had a resurgence, and he had to separate himself from that attitude.
He's
Like-
had a resurgence.
Oh, he's way on the rebound with movies like
he?
Mandy. Yeah. Like, as soon as he stopped taking himself seriously, right? There's a new love for Nicolas Cage. Watch Mandy, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Is that the? He had one recently where he's playing himself in the movie, and like there's a fanboy that's like after him the whole time.
I don't know about that, but that sounds interesting. Like when he sort of leaned into that crazy, it works great. The less serious than he is, because I can't stand any more of that bullshit draw thing when he's trying to play cool. It's like, my name's Joe, this is what I do. Right? I cannot stand it. Like, if you could threaten my family and say, well, actually, you're in my family. It's not good. You could threaten. It's a coin toss. Like, if you held a gun to my dog's head and said, "I'm going to shoot this dog. Or you're going to watch Con Air." Flip a coin, man. That's a rough spot. And I love this dog. You know I love this dog, but man, I cannot stand that him taken seriously.
I don't know if I could watch it right now. I really enjoyed Con Air when it was out.
It was fine. It was fine back in the day, but just that he kept doing that for so long that it grates on me.
The Rock.
Rock's fine.
Rock was fine.
It's-
I liked it.
It's not him that I like in that movie.
Ah,
It's Ed Harris.
It's Ed Harris
Yeah.
and Sean Connery playing Sean Connery, playing somebody else.
Sean Connery always plays Sean Connery.
That is. I would argue that Zardoz is a different Sean Connery.
That's when Sean Connery really liked heroin, or something. Yeah.
Well, he did say that he wanted to play something as far away from James Bond as possible. Mission
That one does
accomplished.
it, yeah. So, although I'm sure James Bond also had a combat thong somewhere.
Maybe in the books.
what
Maybe
was
in
this
the
movie called?
Don't worry, it's called Stardust. It is so terrible.
I can't recommend it,
I can't,
but I
yeah.
can. I can say, like, you want to see a movie that thinks it's saying something?
Yeah. It has a giant flying head statue that barfs out guns.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Wow.
not an
That
exaggeration.
actually
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and the head keeps saying the gun is good,
All
the
right.
penis is bad.
Yeah.
What?
No,
Okay.
yeah.
It has a unique place in movie history.
You have to dig for that one, man. So, but it will make you feel better about just about every other movie you've ever seen. So,
The movie keeps trying to make a point, but it just doesn't. It refuses. It will not turn the corner.
Fair.
Well, yeah. So you were talking about Westworld, yeah?
No, he was
no,
done.
I'm done with it.
Done.
Well, okay. Are you okay with that if it's like a quick twist? So, like, what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie where they didn't know they were in modern times?
no, that was dumb too.
The Village?
The Village.
The Village, yeah. Yeah.
It was like, do they not fly fucking planes over this part of America? So I'm sorry.
But that was the conspiracy they were keeping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Dumb.
Okay. So is there a way to make that twist work?
No.
There you go.
Not
All
on
right,
me.
Just
Yeah. I'm like, it's just, it is so beyond the pale of like, come on, man. I mean, really? So like it would
Because
take
she was able to like stumble to a road.
exactly.
Right, yeah,
Not
that's
really
so
that
It's like
far.
there's probably a highway on the other side of the hill. It's like, what's that sound? You know, and all of us be like, oh, that's a cop car. And they're like, oh my god, it's fucking, the devil. So, and it's just like, actually, someone would go walk over that ridge,
Yeah.
take a look, yeah.
Yeah.
And then in today's modern world with Google Earth,
Yeah, you're seeing it, and
yeah, it's just one of those things where like county assessor never came around here at one point in time.
we don't
To
do
do
taxes.
things, yeah,
There's a lot of land here that nobody owns.
it's just ridiculous, man. So that's why I like that, like the bitch.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fine, fucking step across the boundary. That goat actually is Satan. Cool.
Yes, that's why I like the movie,
Yeah.
because it had the guts.
It did.
It's there's something incredibly subversive that they do here, and this is all. It's the cool thing is this is actually based off of a. It's actually based off like a fairy, well, not a fairy tale, but like a story that parents would tell their kids
Right.
back in the day in New England.
It just happens to be true, at that point in time, that they will actually eat your children and join a naked sex cult at the end of the movie.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. For about 5 seconds, but yes,
Right.
But
All it takes to get the point across.
it's floating,
Right.
Yeah, but well, the whole thing here is that what they set you up for is when this takes everything that you remember from the Crucible and everything like that. They set it up where the two little children that are accusing Anya Taylor-Joy of being a witch, right? You're like, oh, well, they're playing this up. I've seen this in other movies. They're like, actually, these two little idiot kids are telling the truth.
They're right.
Yeah.
They turn out to be right in the end. It's so cool. See, that's the kind of twist you could pull
That
on me.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
So,
And when the goat starts talking, it's actually Satan. I'm like,
yeah, as soon as the goat starts talking for the first time, you're like, whoa, shit, man. So I thought this was going to be total Arthur Miller bullshit.
Yes, as did I.
Where it's like, oh, they're going to accidentally kill her, and then they're going to feel real bad when actual blood comes out, and their mother's dead, and blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, no, actually, she's a fucking witch.
This is fucking genius.
Yeah,
And this is the same director that did The Northman.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, Will, is you might. So I get it. You're just.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
You're just.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, oh, when's he's gonna kick an ass or something, you know?
I've just never seen a Viking artsy movie.
You know what? I hadn't either. That's a good way to put that.
And so maybe I just was totally not prepared for
Yeah.
what was going to be shown in front. And
There have been a couple of good Viking shows. There is a movie out there that's like Vikings, but it's funny. So I'll see if I
What's
can
that?
find that. I'll see if I can find that.
Is it relatively new or is it?
Yeah, it's only a few years old. So it's called it's not like the Norseman or anything like that, but it's something like that. And it's like in the beginning, it's all like serious and shit, and then the slaves start, bitching about like, oh, man, I'm so thirsty. Can you let me off out of here? Kind of thing. And it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute, this is a very different type of show. But he tells you that right off the beginning, right off the bat.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, so it's a little different.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was a movie or a show. So that it might have been like a 3 or 4 part series on Netflix.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I can definitely. Patrick, is Asterisk supposed to be a Viking?
Asterix is not. He is a Gaul.
He's a Gaul. Okay.
He's a Gaul.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's Asterix the Gaul.
Okay.
So, Asterix and Obelix. There is a animated series of that.
There's tons.
Well, there's a new one that's out that I've been watching lately. It's actually really fucking good. So it's all in French, but well, that's where it comes from. So, but yeah.
Well, considering like he is like all of Europe's like Charlie Brown.
He kind of
essentially.
Yeah.
Well, evidently I missed out because this has everything to do with video games. There are like 60 tons of like there's this killer arcade game.
Yeah, there's tons of them. It all comes from one movie that was ages ago.
Well, it was a strip.
It was a strip as well, yeah. So, but
I think it still is.
It might very well be.
Dude, this is it's so weird. Like you're talking about like art that you didn't know was a thing. That would be like if you didn't like you looked away and suddenly there were 60 years of wow, like Nancy was like the top com is they're like you turn around and say like wait a second. So like Nancy the game was the top Super Nintendo game in like 1992. You'd be like this is just some corny ass comic strip here but you're like no, this is history. This is beloved.
Yeah.
It's weird to know that certain things are just huge in other places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple that I ran into not too long ago. There was I can't. You remember Mad TV?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for a little while they actually had an animated version of Spy versus Spy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm not surprised they went belly up after a while. I remember those way more fondly, and then I watched them again. They're terrible. They're really not that good.
They were just shorts.
Yeah, they're just little shorts. They're just not funny. So. I remember they had a Nintendo game years ago, Spy vs. Spy. It was the best game.
Best game I ever played.
Yeah. So, well, I wouldn't say it's the best game I ever played.
Well, for what it was,
it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the time. But, and I remember, like, having Mad Comics when I was a kid. So, I get them all the time. So,
yeah.
And they were great in there. So, but then I was just watching these shorts. I was like, ew, it's bad.
But yeah, it was just a little... It was just like a little side thing that they threw in the show because that's not what it was. It was sketch comedy.
Yeah, I know.
Which is interesting because it has nothing to do with the magazine.
Not really, no. No, it was all
all.
parody. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the original cast was huge, and then the show went on for like 20 years. So.
Oh, the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was on Fox, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was sort of their kind of. I don't know, sketch successor to In Living Color.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a show that has not aged well and is not funny when you watch it now?
Yeah, that one's not funny.
I haven't watched that at all.
You know who else isn't really that funny is Arsenio. So
that was just a cultural phenomenon, man.
It totally was, man. And it's like all about like just flash and glam and that early 90s vibe. The jokes are bad, man. They're not that good. So.
Well, so yeah, you turn around and say, well, if he was that gifted of a stand-up, he should have been doing shit afterwards or been in like more movies.
Yeah.
So he was in Coming to America 2, which came out like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Name any other movies that was in between Coming to America 1.
I thought he just flat out retired. So
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know what? Actually,
Was he in White Man Can't Jump?
No, that's Wesley Snipes, dude.
But didn't he have a friend that he goes to the Sizzler with him?
That's not a role. I don't know, but if that is, That is not. That is a step back from being the face of late night, from having goddamn Bill Clinton on your show.
I got something controversial to say about the 90s, too.
Okay.
I actually watched an episode of Married with Children the other day.
Good or bad?
Bad.
Okay. Why?
It's just not funny. Al's just not as funny as I remembered him being.
Okay.
Did he have his hand in his pants?
Of course he did. So, yeah. And Bud, someone needs to shoot that young man. So, it wasn't good. The only people who are still kind of funny are the neighbors.
Was it which neighbors were they?
Marcy and
was it Steve or was it Jefferson?
Jefferson, yeah.
Okay. See, the funny thing is, I actually like Jefferson way more than Steve.
Okay.
Which is evidently very controversial.
I'd be inclined to agree. So
Why would it be controversial? Because he's like a womanizer? Or because he was...
No, they just thought that Steve was way funnier.
Oh.
I don't know. I never saw it that way. I don't know. There's kind of... It depends on when you watched it. I think there's a couple of, like, golden seasons in there.
I don't know. It was pretty old. So there was, like, I know later, so the kids are still young in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's just, it is extremely rough. So, and it's like everything is right on the nose, with the jokes.
Yup.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know if maybe it's me that's changed a little bit, but I don't think I changed that much. So, but
Yeah.
I guess, but like the thing about it is that, like the actual I can watch an episode of The Simpsons and still laugh my ass off. So, and I was that way back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually quite a few good ones that I've been watching again lately. So, and they're just genius. So,
I went through a few of those seasons when I was on the rig.
yeah.
Absolutely. And they hold up extremely well.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not going to stand up for Married with Children as though it was genius. What I am going to say is their entire thesis was what's on TV now. We are deliberately going for as opposite. They said, like, this is the anti-Cosby show.
Right, yeah.
Which is, I like that because in theory they said, well, if this is a doctor and a lawyer, then, and they're successfully black, our show is about white trash.
Well, yeah.
Now, there's a strange thing about white trash, you see, is that, if I recall, they live in Chicago.
Yeah.
In like a 3-story, well, at least 2 stories in a finished basement.
Yeah, it's a 3-story house. Yeah.
With one person that works at a shoe store.
Right. They have 2 cars.
And that's not a small house. So, like, there's a part of, like, white trash, but not white trash. Because remember, in theory, right, Roseanne was supposed to be white trash.
I would argue that Roseanne probably pulled that one off a little bit better. So
she would work, and he worked.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is he was a drywaller, right?
That's
When
right.
he started, he was a drywaller, and she worked. Remember her first job?
Waitress?
Nope.
No.
She worked in the plastics factory.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. They pull off white trash, I think, a little bit better.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right? Because they did try, honestly enough, they tried to portray their situation as, like, real. Sort of. That the humor came from a relatable scenario.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas Married with Children from the start was like again, it was a pastiche, it was a complete, like, send-up of this, because they played their poverty for fun.
Yeah.
If you were to call it poverty.
I guess that's...
But it just doesn't come across.
No, it doesn't work, man. And I don't know if it's because things have changed since then, or if it's necessarily because I guess I can kind of see through it now. So in some respects,
I think the cultural impact at the time was a big part of that.
Yeah.
But they had no food.
Well, they always said
funny.
that. Yeah.
So they were always choosing all the stuff other than food.
Well, that was the thing. That's how they present it, where it's funny that they can't eat, so they're going to crash a wedding, or they're going to
Oh yeah.
right versus
Go
we're
to church.
starving and this sucks. Right? I mean, because the episodes where like Al is making these great burgers because he's putting like the ashes of like a okay, you remember that? 'Cause he's
Yeah,
putting-
I do
yeah,
remember
that's what I'm saying is they're not taking the poverty seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of tongue in cheek. So I don't know, man. It wasn't funny.
I haven't watched
So,
any of the
yeah,
old
you know,
stuff. Like,
And so, like, I've been on this like kick lately where I've been seeing things because they started watching The Simpsons, okay, on YouTube of all things, and so of course my feed gets clogged with other bullshit from the '90s now.
Yeah, sure.
At this point, that's where I saw Arsenio and a couple of his routines. I was like, oh, that's not funny anymore. I don't know if it was funny back then. Now, I think about it. So, and then there were like a couple other things. Like I remember watching. There was a show. What the fuck? It was called The Edge.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that with
Yeah.
Wayne with Nedry,
Yeah, Wayne Knight.
Wayne
and-
Knight,
and
thank
Jennifer
you.
Aniston.
And oh yeah, that's right, Jennifer Aniston. So I saw a montage of the Arm family clips, and I remember those being hilarious when I was
yeah.
a kid. They're
Yeah.
not that funny. They're just not that funny, man.
So the whole thing about that is that you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'm gonna put this to you. Okay, let me take the quote unquote, if you want to call it this, the golden age of SNL.
Okay, which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about like the Belushi era.
Okay, all right.
So
Not the Adam Sandler era.
no, I wouldn't call that the golden era. That, I
Well,
would-
some people do.
no, okay. So what I would say is like if you're gonna treat it like comics, you have a gold era, you have a silver era, and you have a whatever the fuck you call this right now.
Cancel it now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So if you were
It's so bad.
if you were to say like Jeff, what metal is closely related to cancer? It'd be that. So
Radium.
there you go. Okay, so if you go to the gold era, that's like the Belushi, Eddie Murphy era.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So you're gonna tell me that you're gonna laugh at the samurai film critic?
Yeah, okay. That's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like you're gonna look at these old bits, and that was funny because of the time it was in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, is
Question.
making copies really that funny? So
What-
Right,
I'm Gumby, damn it.
right, yeah. Yeah.
What of today is funny?
Huh?
What of today is funny?
Oh, there's a bunch of stand-up comedians out there who get me going
Are there?
really quickly.
Okay.
Well,
So
are you
it's
asking
just-
like for
it's-
TV shows?
I
or-
don't know. Like, so is it just stand up?
Well, to tell you the truth, yeah, because I don't really watch sitcoms anymore. So, yeah, it's been a while since I actually got into anyone. Like, I know you're a Big Bang fan. You know,
Yeah, I like Big Bang.
So did my mother, and you know that's absolutely cool. So, but I could never really get into that one. So there's been a few shows here and there over the years that were kind of poking along those lines. But like, if I really want to get a good laugh out, I'm a cartoon guy. You know, so I will laugh my ass off at like. I've been watching the old school Aqua Teen. Holy shit, some of those are funny, man.
Yeah,
They're
I
so
agree.
much better
Yeah.
than I remember
Yes.
them being. So, although the first I saw the Rabbit one the other day, that one's bad.
Didn't find its footing.
Yeah, no,
No.
didn't find its footing. But you get as soon as you hit Moon and Knights, it's great.
Yeah, episode 4.
Yep, it's great.
They find their feet.
Yeah, so
And the actual storyline of the series falls apart
right,
when
yeah,
they realize they've got nothing.
we got nothing. We are not going to solve any more crimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's just- I think they even say that on the show. We're
Yeah.
not really.
yeah. Yeah. So, you know, and so like things like that are kind of get me going now.
Has there been a movie?
I haven't watched a funny movie in some time.
Comedy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's plenty of movies that have funny moments, but they aren't necessarily comedies.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. The last few that I watched that were supposed to be comedies, like Sausage Party and shit like that,
That movie is dog shit.
it is so terrible.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
I don't like Will Ferrell that much, but there's one with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds that I might watch and see if it's funny.
You know what? Actually, no. Hold on one second. That movie with Will Ferrell and Marky Mark was hilarious.
The bad guys or the good
The other guys.
The other guys.
That movie was hilarious.
That one was pretty. It was pretty good.
Is that one animated?
No. It just
okay.
There's that thing where who's his wife in that movie?
Eva Mendes.
And fucking he just keeps bagging on her like she's ugly as shit.
Right.
That killed me. I was and Mark was like, "Are you?
Who are we?
Wait, are you?" That movie was actually great, and so was that dumbass movie with John Cena in it, where he was like, where they were the parents.
Oh yeah, actually that one was.
That movie was really funny.
What is it?
Like,
Oh,
they're not babysitters, but they're kind of
the parent. There are three parent. The clock or something clockers or
No, well, it's not that. It's you know, as soon as I say it, but I can't remember the title. It just, I watched it on a whim, and I was surprised at, number one, how good John Cena was in that role. Because I thought, like, this is
the
going to
block.
be stupid.
Isn't it blockers? Because they're trying to block their
Oh, right,
kids
right.
from hooking up.
Yeah, like,
I think it's called blockers.
yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is. It's
supposed to be cock blockers, right?
it's a play off the word cock.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah,
I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
it was
Their kids are
surprisingly
going
funny.
to the prom and
Right.
they're trying to stop them
Yeah.
from hooking up.
That movie was surprisingly funny.
Yeah, that one actually was pretty good. I must say.
But that, you know what's funny is that's not a recent movie. It's not. It's like
It's
10
probably
years
10
old.
years old.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that long? Oh.
Maybe like 8. I was definitely solid in the oil field.
Oh, okay.
So maybe
Yeah.
5 to 8 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's got to be something funny with the last couple of years, but I just like
It doesn't
Well, I
come
haven't saw it
across.
out.
it doesn't come
Yeah,
across my
that's one of the
radar.
issues,
Yeah.
and I haven't saw it out.
So, no, and like, yeah, like I said, if I want to get a few laughs in, man,
Ted Lasso is fun.
I've heard that.
You know, it's a heartwarming show. That's
Yeah.
why it works.
I haven't seen that, so but I have heard that. So
It's just it's like it's good people
Yeah.
doing good things, and the people who aren't doing good things still have good things happen to them. There's nothing mean spirited about it at all.
see, that's kind of nice.
I was so surprised. Yeah, I know.
I might want to check.
I was so surprised at that.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes when you get into something that you know it's going to be a comedy series, you either click with it right off the bat or you don't.
That's
You
the
know,
tough thing,
and it's
yeah.
just like, no, I'm not going to watch this. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is stupid. So,
But I've liked Jason Sudeikis, so
Who's he?
he's Ted Lasso.
yeah.
Oh, what else has he been in?
He was in the movie where their company goes underwater. The three horrible bosses. With Charlie
Oh.
Day and Jason Bateman.
Wow.
I like Jason Bateman too.
I know the name. I don't remember what he is.
He's in. I thought Bad Words was hilarious. I don't know if you've ever.
I don't know.
Oh my! I thought that one was hilarious.
No.
He's also in Ozarks.
I tried watching that.
I love that. I
Yeah,
think it's
it
like
is.
I think it's like Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
What?
it's like Breaking Bad, but in the Ozarks. So.
I loved it. I absolutely.
I wasn't in the mood for another like like good guy gone bad kind of like thing, and oh, what are we gonna do about the children, stuff, and I was just like,
It gets pretty out there, but so did Breaking Bad for trying to solve some of
In
the
some ways, yeah.
for how
yeah,
extreme some of the things got. It's like, dude, come on.
they were putting a little bit too much saran wrap
Yeah.
on Tupperware towards
Yeah.
the end. Yeah. It's like we got to get Walter right to the exact right place after we've completely painted him into a corner. So
Well, the even though I excuse it, I shouldn't, because they're like, how do we solve this problem? And usually the writers' room, Nazis?
Nazis, yeah.
Serious? It's like,
Real ones or cartoon ones? Extra cartoony.
no, well, I mean, if they were like actually German. that'd be
Oh, that would have been
funnier.
hilarious. Yeah.
It could have worked because
they're
wasn't that
Argentinian,
company
but-
from Germany?
Yeah,
Madrigal?
yeah.
Was it what?
Wasn't
Madrigal,
it
yeah.
Madrigal?
Didn't they have
They
a,
were actual Nazi, yeah.
Well, the company was based out of Germany. Like,
Sure.
isn't that where she was?
It was something like,
Yeah.
they could have made, what was her name, Olivia?
Lydia?
Lydia, that's right. She was Hitler's granddaughter. Or something.
Well, because they're as out of nowhere as actual Nazis would have been.
They were pretty out of place.
Like if they had been like poking around it, there's like a subgroup of meth guys that you know, had prison tattoos and whatnot, and you know, whatever, had certain leanings like don't fuck with these guys.
Yeah.
Then that would have been some foreshadowing instead of like a total ass pull.
They totally fucking had that in there. Because remember, like, the whole thing, I am the one who knocks, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And, like, when he says, who the hell are you? And it's, you know who I am. He's talking to Arizona guys who are supposed to be badasses. And they just go away.
Right. Like, oh yeah, well,
yeah,
he makes a convincing point. I asked him, and that's what I said to the boss.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, don't. Yeah,
Did you ever finish out Saul?
I didn't because I don't have TV.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't either. I kept forgetting that it was on.
Okay.
And then once I started falling behind, I was like, well,
There is a lot of it. That's one of the problems with content like that. It's like sometimes you get like into it a little bit and then you drop off of it and then you realize, oh, there's 3 more fucking seasons. Oh, fuck, man. You know?
Well, look, and I guess for me, this is where I'm starting. I'm almost ready to declare full independence from streaming because it makes me mad. Right?
Streaming?
Yes, because what I'm starting to realize here is that streaming is just bad cable, right? Because no, I
That is.
it's making me mad because the reason that I'm not watching Saul is because, well, the shit that I was streaming on, I've since canceled, and you're saying, do you want to jump back in just to watch one show? No, I don't.
Yeah.
So where am I with Stranger Things? I didn't get to see the last season, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there saying, like, there's a lot of praise right now for the House of the Dragon, which I hear is great.
Yeah.
And
is it?
I've only seen the first 2. So,
Okay, I've only seen the first.
yeah.
two.
I have access to them through nefarious means, but
and that's how I watch my sports. And
Yeah.
there's some other shows that I watch. But yeah, it's in order to watch just a show, whereas back in the day it was just, well, you watch TNT at 4 o'clock, right? Now at this point it's sign on to this, remember to cancel, watch your show, right? And I don't want to juggle fucking, like, I don't want to juggle, trial months.
no, I've tried doing that a couple times. Didn't.
I always end up signed up for months afterward, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, I'm still signed up to Hulu regular.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm bored with that, and so like I've got my 2 services right now. So I've got Prime, of course. So everybody's got that,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of shit on there. And then the other one is YouTube TV, and so if I want to watch cartoons, it's currently scraping just about every cartoon that I ever liked off there. So you know what? And it's like, okay, now I have a library. The one thing that is a bitch to get together is Adventure Time. So because
Right.
they only play it like 2 times a week, and there's like 8 seasons.
There's even more.
Yeah.
They so on HBO Max, they rebooted the series.
Yeah, I know.
There's new episodes.
Well, these are the ones that are still owned by Cartoon Network, or they can still show on cable TV. So they're the older ones, but it takes forever to actually get the library together, and so I've just been working on it for the last like 3 months. And it's like other things like The Office will load in 3 days because if
It's on 3 channels.
somebody's marathoning it, and you're just going to get all of them on any given weekend.
Gotcha.
So, and I don't know, like, I've almost been tempted to dive back into that for a little bit. So,
I've watched it all. I've enjoyed. Actually, if you're asking about TV shows that I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
yeah.
I was late to the party.
Yeah.
I regret that.
Still late.
But I liked it a ton because it was. Yeah, I don't want to say it was subtle, because times it wasn't,
No.
but a lot of times it was.
A lot of times it was.
And the subtleness actually set up the big jokes fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it worked really well.
That's called balance.
Yeah. Yeah, Parks and Rec didn't quite pull that off. Did you ever watch that one all the way through?
I didn't watch it all the way through,
Okay.
but here's the thing. I actually like some of the characters on
great.
Parks and Rec so much.
Yeah.
Right? Like at that point I was like, Aubrey Plaza is the greatest
great.
actress I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, she's excellent. So Nick Offerman's great in that one though. Too.
He is.
He's
And it's the way those two play off each other, which is my favorite part of the show.
well, especially when she starts working for him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I want to go talk to him. I need an appointment. But I can see him. You don't have an appointment. So the only guy that I don't think fits in that show is Rob Lowe. So he kind of fits.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's like you guys let Rob Lowe write too much of his own character.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And
you know.
frankly, I think like Chris Pratt is a little bit overboard in that show.
he's not bad in the beginning. He starts to get that way towards the end. So
Yeah.
He's pretty goofy in the beginning. So and then towards the end, it's like, oh, so you're gonna be that guy? Okay, so you're getting to write your own character now too. So
Yeah, he's not bad. It's just like, for me, this is like when people say like, oh, Steve Carell was the best part of The Office. I'm like, no, he's not.
no, not really.
He's so goddamn loud at some points, and when he becomes a parody of himself, right? Like, this is getting annoying, and that's what I was seeing with Chris Pratt. And I'm not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I'm not even going to talk about Ed Helms because fuck that guy. But
Oh, fuck Ed. Yeah, Ed Helms, especially when he becomes a boss in that one, it's just infuriating.
shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad later on when they ship him off. So, oh, that season where he's actually like introduced.
Yeah.
Oh, it's insufferable.
He's
So-
fine when he's the douche at the office that Jim gets transferred to, right? In Pennsylvania.
When he comes to the Scranton, though,
Before he comes,
yeah,
when he's
cool.
actually just that dickhead in the office.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny, right?
yeah,
And I believe that
they should have kept him that way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I hate Ed Helms. And he's never done anything but play Ed Helms.
I know.
I've seen him in movies.
Especially
he
later.
plays Ed Helms.
All he insists on doing is singing. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it. Yeah, and the other person I love in Parks and Rec was because of the way she played off Audrey Plaza was Rashida Jones. She's
She was very
amazing
good.
that because
Yeah.
they hate each other. And it feels like they hate
Yeah.
each other. I don't like Amy Poehler.
Oh, I don't
That's
mind
why
Amy
I didn't
Poehler.
like the show.
I don't like
couldn't-
Amy
I couldn't
Poehler.
stand her.
I don't really mind her.
I do like the fact that the show acknowledges how annoying she is.
Yeah, they kind of play that up a little bit. So,
But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like her. I don't like if you say like, hey, you want to see a movie with Amy Poehler and who else? Who else are you going to throw in here? Go ahead. Is Tina Fey going to be in
Fey,
this?
Thank you. There we go.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So it's going to be a movie that's not funny, but everybody says it's genius.
You're not the first person to say that about Tina Fey, Jeff.
And someone actually like who was like 20 years late to seeing Mean Girls said, "Oh, this movie's actually pretty funny." But it has nothing to do with
It has
her.
nothing to do with
It has everything to do with what's her name? The girl with the crazy fake ass sounding name, but she's the one that plays Janice Ian.
Plays who?
The goth chick in that
in Mean Girls.
in Mean
Yeah.
Girls.
Oh,
She has a name that
can't-
sounds like it's totally made up.
I know who you're talking about.
But she's the best part of that movie.
I think I've seen it, but I can't really.
It's
been
fine.
old.
It's not.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's not a deeply psychological, like fucking capstone kind of movie that people like try to pretend it is. It's like the same idiots who sit there and say like, the most genius movie of the past 25 years by a country mile is a little movie called Starship Troopers. And if you don't think so, you didn't get it.
Actually read an interview by Michael Ironside the other day.
Did he apologize
No. Why would he apologize?
for being in that movie?
Well, he was very curious why the director actually chose to be in that movie. He was like, "Hey, the guy always watched out for me, so I'll go where he goes." But
Well, okay.
I don't know why he picked this one.
All right, fair enough. No, I gotcha.
I thought he was dead. So
No, he's not.
Yeah,
I saw him in a rather. I don't want to say it's a genius Canadian movie.
that kind of doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, what was it called? It was called. This is not. You got to talk amongst yourselves. I got to think for a second.
Well, we're at $1:31. You got 10 seconds.
If we had the Jeopardy theme song going right now.
No, just hey, go on here. Try to All right, fuck it. All right, fuck it and fuck you guys.
We call it Brilliant Canadian
Brilliant
Movie.
Canadian movie, yeah. So
Mythical, brilliant
brilliant
Canadian movie.
So
No, it's a real thing.
well, Google it. You've got
No, I'm not
Okay.
gonna.
All right. Well, he's totally allowed. There's 3 of us.
Oh, yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah, but you guys have to fill the air. You can't just sit there and like make noise
What
in
do
the
you think
while I
we've been
Google.
doing, man? Yes.
I thought I'd talk a decent amount.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of stuff. Oh, on Netflix right now, they're doing a show on the Pepsi, the kid that tried to buy the Harrier.
Oh, the Harrier?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a kid. It was a dude.
Well,
Yeah, well,
he was college.
Yeah, I know. This thought he was smart ass, and you know.
Like it broke down his plan and all this kind of stuff and how he's
Yeah.
like researched all this. Like so far, I'm only like an episode in. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, no, that's actually a pretty famous case study. So he actually lost a really big. Oh, sorry, have you seen that all the way through?
I haven't gone all the way
All right,
through.
never mind.
I don't think you're gonna do a spoiler or anything like that.
Well, yeah. So
He wins the jet.
He
right,
still
yeah,
comes
he's
to
still flying
he still
around.
comes to Peterson to do air shows because that was in part of his business proposal.
He helped us win in Iraq.
yeah,
Nope, they wouldn't let him put weapons on. The Pentagon said that you're allowed to own one, but you can't have any weapons.
otherwise it will shoot you down. All right, do you think of it?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. All right. Well, we're at $1:36.
Alrighty,
All right. I'm Pat.
I will.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm hitting the button, Jeffrey.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.